Hello, I'm Steven, and this is Cherry Knoll Whiskey Reviews. Today, we're going to be going over Penelope's Tokaji cask finished straight rye whiskey. So, Tokaji is a Hungarian wine. It's known for being a sweet dessert wine. It's normally fairly expensive and kind of on the fancier side of dessert wines. Beethoven was actually a huge fan of Tokaji wines. So this is part of their Cooper series, which is essentially Penelope's way of coming up with a series of finished whiskeys. So they've done things like the Rosé, the Valencia, Tokaji. I'm sure I'm missing one, but we have done reviews on quite a few of Penelope's products because they are right here in New Jersey. I do think that Penelope did end up selling their name and distillery to a larger distillery or larger operation. So I'm hoping that the new company that's taking over will continue to do fun things like what Penelope had been doing. I know in the early portion of Penelope's history, they were sourcing a lot of their whiskey and mostly just trying to do interesting finishes with them. So I'm not sure if they had this particular bottle with their own distillate or a distillate that they had sourced. This does say bottled by Penelope, which gives me the impression that it is a sourced whiskey that they had done the finishing on here in New Jersey. I had found a liquor store that had a open bottle that I could sample, and I really enjoyed it, but they didn't have anything left, and it had been probably about a year until I was actually able to find this particular bottle. So hopefully the long wait and it being from a different batch doesn't change my thoughts on it. So this is 105 proof and aged for 6 years. So let's get into it. Very light and sweet. One thing about the wine is that it can have sweet marmalade flavors, and that's definitely coming across in the nose. It is very floral. You get the citrus of that like marmalade type sweetness. A little bit of vanilla tailing off of that marmalade. And then it goes into like a caramel oaky finish. So very pleasant on the nose. Definitely not one to complain about as far as the nose goes. But yeah, that marmalade is kind of taking over and is definitely the strongest note that I'm getting. So I'm going to sip it and see what I think. So right away I get a ton of like fruit off the tongue, and then it slides into a grain forward rye flavor. Yeah, it's got a lot of grain flavors. It's almost a dusty rye type flavor, I guess. It's hard to explain. It's like you're about to make the dough to make a rye bread, and it's a little bit dusty. But you get a ton of sweetness on the front. You get like a marmalade mixed with like raisins and plums and all types of interesting fruit combination. I think the mix of the Tokaji wine with the marmalade flavor and the rye, straight rye from Penelope, really ends up with it being a super sweet, fruit forward tasting, which then kind of goes into that drier, kind of dusty rye bread type flavors. And then finishes off with a very sweet oak. Even the mouthfeel is like the finish makes you kind of salivate, so you end up with a very juicy finish to this particular bourbon. But yeah, the Tokaji wine is, you know, from a specific region in Hungary, which it's named after, and it's a late harvest on the grapes, normally white grapes, and they let it get a fungal infection. I think it's detritus, which causes the grapes to become sweeter. It sounds kind of weird that you would let the grapes get a mold or a disease infection and that it would help things, but apparently it creates a sweeter, more fruity taste to the grapes, which 100% is coming through on this whiskey, and it's definitely a very good rye. I would say that it's probably my tied for first as far as ryes go. And if you get a chance to pick it up, I would say it's 100% worth it. I've really been enjoying Penelope's Cooper series. The only one I didn't care for was the rosé, and a lot of other people really liked the rosé barrel experiment from Penelope, so I'm wondering if I may have just ended up with a off bottle. But yeah, for this Hungarian wine finish with my Hungarian Vizsla, I can definitely give this one a thumbs up. And if you get a chance, I would say pick it up. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.